The technically minded among you may conclude that speed and style is all about the clock, whereas people like me will politely respond, whatever dorks, it's actually all about the style. Both sides make interesting points, and in this case, both sides are correct. The speed and style secret sauce relies on two core ingredients: riding fast and then adding the perfect blend of trickery. And in 2020, there's a whole new crop of fast guys who can trick and stylish guys who can ride fast, eyeing up the podium. Round 1 of the Crankworx World Tour, the Clif Speed and Style Rotorua, presented by Mons Royale. Head-to-head racing live on Red Bull TV. From the biggest and boldest mountain bike festival in the Southern Hemisphere, Crankworx Rotorua.
That's what I'm talking about, people. Some mountain bike action for the 2020 season. Thanks for joining us. It's the second day of broadcast competition down here at Crankworx Rotorua, and we could not be more excited for the event we have on tap for you today. Take a look at where we're hanging out. This is where every Crankworx World Tour season kicks off. Beautiful little mountain bike village of Rotorua, New Zealand. I'm your host, Cam McCall, alongside World Cup downhill racing legend Andrew Neethling. You see how we're doing this? Speed and style, it's all about racing, but it's also about tricks. So we think we got the balance here. He's gonna talk to you about all the fast-paced action on the corners. I'm gonna talk to you about the tricks. And who is going to take it? That's the big question. That's the question we're always asking ourselves at the beginning of a new tour, because everybody's been practicing hard. One rider who's been practicing super hard on both slalom and speed and style, we saw take the gold yesterday. Take a look at how it shook down in the finals. It came down to Bas van Steenbergen and Kyle Strait. Kyle put in the horsepower down there, you see, snapping a chain, but still managing to cross the finish line first in run number 1 of the finals. But he wasn't making it easy on himself, going in with the advantage into run number 2, and somehow not crashing during this wild mistake. Watch him come into this rhythm section, overshoot. Check it out, Andrew.
My word, he really made it hard for himself last night. Made a lot of mistakes, but managed to have some luck himself, because Bas made a huge mistake in that run 1.
So somehow grabbing the gold, Kyle Strait, and all eyes were on him here for speed and style. And then this happened. Round of 32, bobbling on his bread and butter trick. I mean, we were expecting to see him stomping tail-ups on that last jump every single round, and we definitely had money on him to take the win. But that crash right there, it just goes to show that even some of the top dogs who have the most preparation under their belt can have a blunder. So he's not going to make it 2 back-to-back nights with gold medals around his neck. So it really opens up the door for a lot of the riders out there. Who would you say is poised to capitalize on that mistake from Kyle Strait?
Well, after seeing that, that's our current leader, the king of Crankworx. We've got to look at a guy like Tomas LEMOINE. That's opened up the doors for him in the championship and the speed and style.
So Tomas LEMOINE had a little bit of trouble here last year. Of course, he's the 2018 Speed and Style World Champion. He was second place in the 2019 overall standings, but he started off his season kind of bumpy here in Rotorua from last year. Take a look. Semifinals going up against Martin Soderstrom, who would go on eventually to become the 2019 World Champ. He earned some points at the first stop because LEMOINE had issue after issue. So a little bit of an over-rotation tire blowout sent him into the bronze medal matchup against Greg Watts. LEMOINE with a trick mistake in run number against Martin Soderstrom and a speed mistake against Greg Watts here, meaning he would have to settle for 4th place. So looking for redemption out here undoubtedly. We got the headset on him. Let's check in with Tomas LEMOINE.
Thomas, you are our 2018 Speed and Style champion. You've qualified fastest here today, but last year didn't quite go as planned. What's your strategy this year?
I'm trying to have no strategy right now. I'm trying to take one at a time and just trying to go full speed, don't do mistakes, do my tricks, and see how it goes.
Yo, man, so this week's been kind of crazy with windy conditions. You're a guy who competes in a ton of different events. Has it been challenging getting enough practice for all the different disciplines you're signed up for?
Yeah, it's been a pretty big challenge this week because we pretty much didn't ride the full course in slopestyle yet, and practice on now in the same time as speed and style. So I choose to do speed and style by my own opinion. So that's why I want to give my best today to regret nothing, and we'll see how it goes. But I guess tomorrow I can figure out my full run like everyone else, I guess.
Well, we're excited to see the racing, so all the best for tonight.
Thank you.
So if you joined us last night for Dual Slalom, then there's going to be some familiar elements here in speed and style. We have 16 racers. Of course, we've already narrowed them down from 32, but it's different because they're being judged. There's jumps on the courses. Still same thing as slalom, 2 courses. We'll have them switch sides when they get back up to the top. But the big difference here is when you do a big trick, you're going to then be able to take some time off of your run time there to be able to have a bit of a benefit. And it's kind of like moguls in skiing.
Yeah, so you've got to have strategy here, Cam. I can't wait to see what these guys do, especially as they get into the later heats and they've seen some of their competitors' big tricks.
So after the judges have done their job, you will see the run score. And the lowest run score basically represents their time after the point benefits have been deducted. They'll make it into the next round. The rider who gathered up the most points in the 2019 season was Martin Soderstrom, who's unfortunately not competing in the 2020 season, so that's really going to open up the door for all these other riders. I mean, Lemoine, he was 2nd overall last year to Soderstrom, so all eyes are on him to get redemption from his mistakes last year and try to get to that next spot on the podium in the overall.
Yeah, I think it's open for a lot of the guys. We've got Kyle Strait, who's missed out. He would have been a shoe-in to make it probably to the top 4. That opens the door for someone like Sam Reynolds. He's got a lot of podiums in this event, so can he go, you know, all the way to the top step?
So it's the 6th year here in Rotorua, and we have a different course here. To walk you through that, let's check in with my favorite Kiwi mountain biker. Here we go, GoPro course preview.
G'day, Conor McFarlane here. We're doing the GoPro course preview of the Clif Bar Sprint Style presented by Mons Royale. Dropping in. First little straight, little pedal, and then heaps of options on that first lap. Into the first trick jump. You. Big long outside berm here. And again, all the options you could want. Tom and crew done a mean job. Super tight corner there. Into a few flowers. Into the cliff jump. Into these tight finishing corners here. With a little sprint to the line. You.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. A refreshed course right there. I think it's going to absolutely deliver. It's nice to just mix things up a little bit. You excited about this new course?
Yeah, I've been chatting to the riders. I can't wait to see them out on course. Connor always gets me hyped.
So what are we waiting for then?
Let's do this.
Should we do this?
Please.
All right, everybody. This is the Clif Rotorua Dual Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale, and it starts right now.
A lot of it just comes down to like nerves and who can get out of the gate and make it happen.
Some guys are just impossible to beat nowadays.
I really wanted to show everyone what type of rider I was.
I could hear the crowd just lift.
This is like a feeling that I've never really felt in bike racing before.
Oh no!
This year, and we're talking about giving the King of Crankworx a nudge. Goal would definitely be a win.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Speed and style time. We're just carrying the momentum, aren't we? Slalom was so exciting last night. And now let's get upside down, sideways, and backwards. Add some tricks to the mix. Look at our brackets for the round of 16. What's standing out for you here, Andrew, as some interesting head-to-head matchups?
Well, no surprise. Tomas LEMOINE qualifying the fastest. He's at the top. But there's some new names. Teodor KOVAC, we haven't seen him a lot. Great rider. Mike Ross from Australia. These are names we haven't heard of. Billy MEACLEM's telling us his buddies in the field, Matt BEGG. So, you know what? I can't wait because we've had so many cool stories come from this very venue, Rotorua.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to wait because heat number 1 is in the gate. The man we've been talking about already, Tomas LEMOINE, going up against a man we were talking about all night, last night, Bas VAN STEENBERGEN. So your #1 speed and style qualifier for today, going up against your #1 slalom qualifier from yesterday. Big story here is Bas VAN STEENBERGEN doesn't have a lot of tricks. He says he's been working on them. He's taken some time off from story.
Well, Tomas LEMOINE is no...
Going to be the LEMOINE. So Bas leading the speed right now. He's got a
backflip bar spin from Tomas LEMOINE, so he's going to jump ahead on those trick bonuses.
So Bas VAN STEENBERGEN through the line fastest by 0.7, but wait until you see these trick scores being calced into the mix. I would not be surprised if LEMOINE is the leader after they've done some math here. So for those of you who are new to speed and style, this will be your opportunity to understand how it works. 1.26 seconds is what Tomas LEMOINE was able to take off of his time from the first jump where he did a 360 double bar spin. And here's just an example of some of the tricks the judges are looking for here. They have all the tricks that they're expecting to see with an already decided point value. For example, a 360 is worth 56 points, but if you do a 360 that has so much more flair on it, so much more style, we call that a dump 360, and you're going to see an increase, 14 more points for that, 70 points, so on and so forth, all the way down to the biggest tricks you'll see out there. It's not impossible to see double flips in Quark 720s. We've seen it in the past, and so that's how you will earn the most points and get the most time taken off of your run score. Back to racing action here. The rider who took the win out here last year, Billy MEACLEM, really launched his mountain bike career on the right side of your screen. Going up against a newbie on the left here. What do you know about him, Andrew?
Well, we don't know a lot. We have been checking out his Instagram. We've obviously been seeing how good he is on a bike. We know he's got a bag of tricks, so it'll be interesting to see what he's going to decide to throw out here, because look, last year there was a relatively unknown name, but Billy MEACLEM has just catapulted himself to literally the top of the speed and style list.
So Billy MEACLEM, great start here. What are the tricks going to be?
Oh, we've got a spin. Double bar spin from Teodor.
And a backflip one-footed can-can for Billy MEACLEM.
So Billy looking good on the speed aspect of this. That's no surprise there. He works on that as well. Wow, he's got a deep bag of tricks from KOVAC. Backflip double bar spin there, coming through the gates to the finish.
So MEACLEM through the line first with some great tricks, but KOVAC, the 360 double bar spin up top, the backflip double, was it a backflip double bar spin on the second jump?
Yeah, it sure seems so.
Yeah,
it looked like he went for the bars twice there.
Those are going to be big points if we saw that right. Let's go back to a slow-mo replay just to see so much going on all at the same time. All right, you take KOVAC, I'll take MEACLEM. All right, so MEACLEM with a backflip one-footed can-can.
And there you have KOVAC spinning the bars twice in that 360. So that is a big trick. It's a good variation that scores big.
Something to notice there, MEACLEM doing the same trick on the first and second jump. We know that the judges sometimes dock for repeating a trick in the same run. Yep, there we go, backflip one-footed can-can, so repeat trick for MEACLEM. And it was a backflip double bar spin there for KOVAC. So KOVAC, he was competing at Crankworx Innsbruck Speed and Style last season. Obviously, he's been putting in the work because he was hanging tight to MEACLEM there with big tricks. After the math has been done, Billy will remain your leader, and we'll send them back up to the top of the course to switch sides.
We're gonna go to that cliff zone, eh? Just hang out down there, I guess. I don't know, they'll tell us what to do.
Oh, this is exciting here. Two new up-and-comers. David LIEB on the left side of your screen from the USA, and Matt BEGG, actually good buddies with the rider we just saw take the advantage from the previous heat, Billy MEACLEM. Both Christchurch, New Zealand riders, been spending the entire summer down in Queenstown, getting ready for this moment right here.
Yeah, and can Matt follow in his buddy's footsteps and jump into a big round here? Whoa! So David Lieb with a 360 double bar spin, and he's out front.
And Matt Begg with a 360 single bar spin. We call that the truck driver. So Lieb already leading the race, but a better trick on the first jump.
So similar to what we just seen. So David doing the backflip bar spin, very similar run to what we just see from Kovac.
But Begg over-rotating that flat spin 360 there and crossing the line 1.63 behind David Lieb.
Yeah, and let's not overcomplicate this. It's not rocket science. These guys are going as fast as they can, throwing as big tricks as they can, and the bigger the trick, the bigger bonus they're going to get. So you guys just wait for us to tally up those scores.
So David Lieb, a bigger trick on the first jump and the second jump, plus he crossed the finish line first, so it's all about what that differential will be here. But undoubtedly, David Lieb will have the advantage going into their second run. But let's throw it back to a replay of the second trick jump right here. It blew me away, the fact that Matt Begg was able to hold on to that over-rotated 360, especially considering he had to line it up for the gates right after.
So there we go, clean backflip bar spin.
So much amplitude on this second
let's
jump.
have a look at this. Oh, over-rotating, somehow getting it squared away for that first gate, but he lost quite a lot of momentum all the way to the finish there.
So the judges have the opportunity to review those slow-mo replays and make sure they're assigning the right amount of points to those tricks. And here we go. David Lieb, as we speculated, will be the leader. And Matt Begg will have 2.36 to make up when they switch sides. We'll take a look at who we have in the gate next here, Needles. Adrien LORON. A large list of accolades to his name. Take a look.
Well, King of Crankworx back in 2017, but he's also got another two second places in that series. So he's easily the man to beat, and he has been our pump track world champion as well.
Frustrating event for him yesterday in dual slalom, but he already got a 4th in the air DH, so he's already gathered up some points for that King of Crankworx. He wants to get that crown back. It's been a couple years now. He's going to have to get past Australia's Mike Ross in this round of 16.
Yeah, what can the Australian do with compared to the experience from Adrien LORON? He's out like a rocket. Wow, backflip tail whip. Dropping a foot though, that's going to hurt his score and his speed.
Isn't that the funny thing about speed and style? Of course, your points are going to go down if you don't land perfect to the pedals, but it's tenfold considering he's losing speed and momentum as well.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? Oh, he's going big. You got to push it, but it's almost like double punishment when you get given a kind of a low score for what was a big trick, and now you've got to make up the speed as well.
So Mike Ross almost thrown it away twice there, but he'll be gathering up some nice points on those jumps. A 115 on the first, a 120 on the second for that backflip knack X up. But really, there's no substitute for just going fast. Let's take a look back at Adrien LORON's start. You watch Supercross, every single racer will tell you it's all about the start. It's no different here in speed and style.
Well, we talk a lot about the big tricks, but it's all about the speed here for Adrien. Look how fast he's out of that gate, and that's the advantage you want to put on your competitor, because now the pressure's on. He's got to make up 3 or 4 bike lengths there before the first jump.
And he knows he doesn't have a ton of tricks. He's just going to 360 that first jump, so you got to play toward your strengths here in this discipline. And Adrien LORON, knowing he's one of the fastest guys out there, especially out of the gate. So he will have the advantage when they get back up to the top, but this should be a good matchup. Greg Watts, coming from the slopestyle background, but he's got a lot of podiums in speed and style. He'll be going up against the racer who loves to recreate at the jumps. He's got some tricks under his belt, Kaos SEAGRAVE.
Yeah, hung out with SEAGRAVE a bit at Darkfest down in South Africa. So this is the young blood versus the old, huge experience. Greg Watts, almost part of the furniture here, but no disrespect there. He is a legend in the sport of Crankworx.
And it was just a year ago that Greg Watts was the bronze medalist right here in Rotorua. Looking to repeat.
Yeah, Greg has found himself on a lot of podiums in speed and style so far. So the youngster neck and neck with Greg walks into the first jump, if not ahead. And there we have it. The backflip bar spin to X up. Greg Watts has got all sorts of variations upside down.
Kaos SEAGRAVE with the flat spin 360.
And just the single bar spin from what I could see from Greg Watts while he was going upside down.
Yeah, Greg has so many crazy backflip combos. He basically chooses how many times to throw those bars and which direction to throw those bars based on who he's competing against.
Yeah, and sometimes we miss it and have to go back to the slow-mo. So you've known him, you've grown up riding with him, sometimes you can't even spot it when it's in real time. He throws those bars so quickly.
100%. So Kaos SEAGRAVE, you know he's got the flat spin 360 up top worth 56 points and the straight flip on the bottom. So Greg Watts opted for the back flip, bar spin X up on the first jump, and the back flip bar spin on the second jump. Crossing the finish line a little ways behind SEAGRAVE, so it'll be interesting to see who has the advantage once they've delivered the points. Full extension after the bar spin, winding those bars all the way around to 180. We call that an X up for obvious reasons. Look at that.
And fair play to SEAGRAVE. I mean, he is coming from a racing background, but he's got a good 360 and a flip there. Maybe he has some variations later.
They've calced in the jump scores. 1.04 will be the deficit. And let's take a look at how our brackets sit right now. The names that are illuminated in yellow, those are the riders who have the advantage when they make it back up to the top of the course and they switch sides. But we have 3 more heats left to go here in the round of 16. We're gonna continue to cut this field in half until we crown a champion in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. More brackets to come, don't go away. Well, welcome back, mountain bike fans of the world. We're all celebrating the same thing here, the kickoff of the 2020 Crankworx World Tour season. Doing it the way we've been doing it for the last 6 years down here in beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand. Today it's all about speed and style. And these jumps here, it's a newly revised course, good sized jumps, but you know the camera adds 10 pounds, it takes away 10 feet. So to contextualize the size of the jumps here, we're gonna use some measurement that are quintessentially Kiwi. So the first jump is about 6.5 meters long, 21 feet, or also known as 3 Taika Waititis and 2 Smeagol's. That's enough airtime to get some wild combos.
Could you elaborate
in.
on some of those for me? What's a Smeagol?
It's pre-Gollum.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's before he coveted the ring.
I've just got a blank stare looking at you right now.
Taika Waititi looks so cozy in between the lip and landing of that jump.
He does.
Much more cozy.
He looks
than
way more casual than when you need to hit the jump.
Yeah, I know. Nobles and Reynolds right now probably not going to be kicking back in this gate because they've been training all off-season for this moment right now. Clif, Rotorua Speed and Style, presented by Mons Royale. We got 3 heats left to go in our round of 16. Barry Noble's on the left side of your screen, Sam Reynolds on the right.
And there we have it. Barry Noble's no surprise with the snap out the gate from the BMX background. Oh, you can hear it. He's frustrated. It was just a straight flip and a mistake from Barry there.
You hear that bird?
So Sam Reynolds, no stranger to the speed and style podium, but can he go better and take a win here? He's got a lot of wood still to chop though, because this is only the round of 16.
Tight race in here between Barry Nobles and Sam Reynolds. The scores coming in. Reynolds taking the cake on both jumps, a 105 and a 98. Reynolds, he locks in. We've seen this in the past from him. He picks his tricks. He gets so consistent with them, and he has so much speed. He just locks in and uses that to just chip away at the field. So Reynolds will be the leader going into their second run in this round of 16, but Barry Noble's holding his own on the speed department, and then some strong rotations for him, but it's just elements like Sam Reynolds taking his hands off, extending them all the way on that backflip on the final jump that just gives him the edge. Now, an exciting debut here in speeding style for Max Fredriksson, a slopestyle athlete who you may see tomorrow in the slopestyle competition. He's an alternate. We'll have to see how that goes, but he decided to sign up for speed and style here, going up against Gordon Brown from Germany.
So this is exciting to see Max throw his name in the hat here. Great start from him. Wow, I think that's a 360 double Boston from what I could see. It happened quickly. Gordon Brown from Germany though, lacking a little bit in the speed, and he's down on points in the tricks too. Max looking calm here. Backflip Boston for him. Yeah, and a fronty from Gordon. Clearly composing himself to throw a huge trick like that on that jump.
Wow, Gordon Brown, knowing that he was behind, he crossed the finish line 1.82 behind Max Fredriksson, throwing the front flip, which should score him quite high. There we go, 1.05 seconds off, but he tied with Max, who also had that same score on the last jump. So Max takes the time, takes the tricks, will be the leader going into their second run. And Max Fredriksson, I mean, this could shake things up if he continues to compete in speed and style. He's a rider with so much bike control, so many tricks, but he doesn't have a racing background, but he doesn't look like a stranger to it
No, he
whatsoever.
looks like a great bike handler, and all of them are. I mean, to get down a slopestyle course, you've got to have great bike handling skills. So he is a big name in the sport, but not of speed and style yet.
Ooh, a future huge name in the sport across who knows how many disciplines here in his professional Crankworx debut. Jackson Goldstone from Whistler, BC, going up against Garrett Meacham from Santa Cruz County, California.
So the spin from Jackson. Yeah, we were wondering which way is Jackson going to go. Well, he's answering some of those questions because he's entering speed and style and some of the downhill events.
So Garrett Meacham first to hit the final jump.
And a flip from Jackson, so he's gone 360 and backflip, but he's down on the speed here, and Garrett Meacham's got some big tricks.
So Meacham with a 3 and a flip of his own, but he was throwing in variations. A truck driver and a backflip bar spin will score him a 124 and a 105 to Jackson's pair of 56s there. But Jackson holding close to the back tire of Garrett Meacham, only 0.42 behind. And you know, this kid only 16. He came out last night, won the whip-off in his first professional Crankworx appearance. We've been watching him in Whistler, BC since he was a toddler on a run bike, so it's so exciting to have him finally becoming a young adult and taking home the big win. Well, that's a look at how our brackets sit right now. Those names in yellow have the advantage. We will make it back to the top of the course, switch sides for everybody, and start eliminating some riders.
Yeah, scary to think he's only 16 years old. He's going to be like Kyle Strait, who's been here forever, and he's only 32.
So Tomas LEMOINE, such a strong rider in speed and style, but of course coming from the slope style, he's still a competitor in that discipline. And look, this is his first time on the podium, way back in Les Deux Alpes 2012, standing on the podium in slope style with some legends, Brandon Semenuk, Martin Soderstrom. He has not slowed down since. He's been on so many podiums in the past 8 years. Just off by 1 step here in speed and style last year. Looking to fix that, but he's going to have to get past Bas van Steenbergen.
So only the toboggan from Bas, but we know he's not going to deep bag.
So LEMOINE with a 360 double bar spin on jump number 1, but he is definitely trailing Bas.
But he makes up a lot of time on those tricks, so he's composed. He just takes us 1 run at a time.
Backflip bar spin for LEMOINE, but Van Steenbergen through the line fastest.
Well, there you have it. As you can see, Bas not scoring much for his jumps. Tomas LEMOINE knocking off a heap of time off his run time, and that's why he doesn't have to go as quick. It's not rocket science, plain and simple. And there you have it. Tomas LEMOINE will advance.
So Bas van Steenbergen picking up a medal and big points last night in slalom. Not going to be the case today in speed and style. But when you're gunning for that King of Crankworx crown, you gotta try. You know, Bas van Steenbergen has advanced through rounds in past speed and style events, even despite not having those big tricks. It just goes to show how incredibly fast he is, but it's not going to be his day today. As we work our way back up to the top, next heat in the gate, Billy MEACLEM, the winner from last year here, going up against Teodor KOVAC from the Czech Republic.
And this is where it all counts. We can research Theodore as much as we want, but the proof is in the pudding here in the big event.
360 double bar spin for Teodor KOVAC.
And looked like the backflip can from Billy, same as what he was doing in the first run. So Billy, really good on the speed aspect of this as well. Oh, and again, like you said, he might get docked a little bit for doing the same trick on both jumps.
That's going to be interesting to see.
You need to keep an eye on that and see if that brings both run. Yeah, you can clearly see they've potentially docked him a little bit on that second jump, which is fair enough.
Well, Billy MEACLEM, a 98 for his flip one-footed can on jump number 1, and 88 for the same trick on jump number 2. So the judges going by the rule book right there and doing it as they agreed. Now this sport, it's always changing, and it's cool to have it now really coming into its own. The format, they've broken it down to a science. And you see the rules being implemented there, but MEACLEM, strong riding. It's just going to get harder for him as he gets into the later rounds with more difficult competitors. Those 10 points that he's losing are really going to start to, he's going to feel them more as he gets going up against some stronger competitors.
Yeah, that is critical, and will that lack of experience kind of show its head here in the main event when he's got to change that trick on the last jump.
So David LIEB here with the advantage.
So big advantage for David. Matt, he needs to pull something out here. Oh, going for the combo. Looked like a bar spin 360 into some sort of 1-foot variation.
LIEB could be dangerous today. He's got those
he's
double
fast, huh?
And he's fast.
A new signing for him, so he's motivated. Oh, big bow, and he's missed the gate, so that's all she wrote for Matt. No fairy tale story like we had last year. He'll be off to the showers and off early.
So, David LIEB proving that he could be dangerous today. He'll be advancing, but Matt BEGG, we're excited to see him. It's exciting that he was able to make it all the way into the round of 16 there. That was the 360 bar spin to 1 foot can. So showing signs of very big potential in the future.
Let's keep an eye how big he goes. That's great for the judges, but going so deep, he had no chance of making that gate. So that strategy as well. You got to land quite high up on the landing so you can get set up for those gates.
So David LIEB advancing to the round of 8. We'll look forward to seeing Matt BEGG hopefully show up to another event before the end of the 2020 season. That's funny, you hear LIEB say, I got 4 years on you. LIEB is young, that means Matt BEGG is even younger. So bright future for him if he sticks with it. Adrien LORON leading this next heat by 0.71 over Australia's Mike Ross.
So no surprise there, Adrien with the flat spin.
Yes, Mike Ross getting the pedals this time on the backflip tail whip.
So we're into the speed section. It's no surprise with Adrien out front leading that. We come to expect that from the man. Backflip for him. And a backflip X up to, I think of Knack as well. I couldn't quite see. So Mike Ross, you see, is 1.92 back after that. Then we're going to go look at all the scores. And as you can see, he's scoring way higher on the tricks. So when they recalibrate this, let's see. And there you have it. Adrien LORON will advance to the round of 8.
So LORON looking to get a little redemption from last night where things did not go his way in the slalom.
Thank you.
But Mike Ross, I hope we see him back as well. The flip whips, those backflip, knack X-ups. We're looking good. All right, Kaos SEAGRAVE, 1.04 behind Greg Watts. And this is where we get to just enjoy the strategies of Greg Watts. Look for him to ride a fast lap, but make sure that he doesn't try anything too difficult on these jumps. He's got so many tricks to choose from. Let's see what he goes with. Backflip bar to X up again.
The spin for Kaos, but he's hard on the pedals here into the slalom section. This is where he needs to try put some ground between him and Greg Watts. But Greg Watts is an amazing all-round bike handler.
So Greg with 1.04 to play with. He goes for the backflip suicide no-hander.
And you can see how casual he's into the finish. He knows what he needed to do there.
Yeah. You know, he has so many tricks, and he's one of the riders who can make on-the-fly decisions. He saw that he was a little bit behind and went, all right, I know flip sui's score really well, so I'll throw one of those out.
Thanks. A little less nervous on that one.
So not a bad showing for Kaos. Speed and style for him. He's made it through to the round of 16, but I mean, he's going up against one of the veterans of the sport, Greg Watts.
Here we go.
All right, Greg Watts doing what he needs to do to get some points here and hopefully repeat podium. He was the bronze medalist 12 months ago. He'll make it into the round of 8. Now, who will advance out of this heat? Sam Reynolds leads Barry Nobles by 0.94.
Oh, and we all know what Barry is capable of attempting, and I use the word attempting because he's not scared for a double there.
I mean, we've seen him. That's what I was thinking. 0.94, it's so manageable. Expect to see Barry Nobles leave it all on the floor here.
Yeah, and you wouldn't do it on the first one.
Oh, nice.
And Sam didn't quite get what he was looking for there either on that second jump, but he's got the advantage.
0.94 is what that advantage was. Nobles crossing the line just about a half second behind Well, that's the adjusted time right there. So 0.54 after 2 runs. Now what will the trick score be? So Noble's getting outscored on both jumps, meaning that Sam Reynolds will move into the round of 8.
Nice, buddy. Next time.
Well, let's take a look at how the brackets are shaping up right now. Of course, Sam Reynolds making it into the round of 8, but who will he be going up against? The winner from the heat previous to his, Greg Watts. That'll be a strong matchup. Look at the other two.
Yeah, I like the David LIEB against Adrien LORON. Those guys are evenly matched in qualification, and that's going to be a danger man for Adrien to get through. So my favorite rider for the evening is Max Fredriksson, throwing his name in the hat here and riding so well on that first run. He's got over 2 seconds advantage here. So he's fast out the gate. So 360, I want to say triple boss, but I'm going to have to go back at that one. I couldn't even focus on Gordon. It was so exciting. So Max, he has a deep bag of tricks, as you know, Cam. I mean, who knows what he could actually throw down if he needed to. I mean, look at him go.
It's just great to see him applying his bike control skills to a new discipline. This guy honestly trains harder than anybody for slopestyle, both at the gym and a lot of times in Sweden in those indoor bike parks where he just has private sessions and he just does reps of all these insanely technical jib maneuvers. And what it does is it just becomes, you know, it gives you this relationship with the bike where it's an extension of your body. And so that translating over to speed is something that you know, it's kind of an experiment. It's cool to see this experiment coming back with conclusive results. Max Fredriksson is a fast racer.
He might be your man to beat you. He's going to be a danger man to throw in the hat there. I see him getting through to the semis at least.
So Garrett Meacham, 1.59 ahead of the young gun Jackson Goldstone, making his pro debut here in the 2020 season. He took the whip off last night. Can he make it into the round of 8? There's the 360 for Goldstone.
And the 360 Barsman to potentially even more of a variation. So Garrett is looking good and strong here. Backflip Barsman for Garrett.
Backflip one-footed can from Jackson, which we did not see him do in run number 1. So dumping the entire bag out, trying to do everything he can to make it out of this round, but it's not going to be enough. But guess what? There is plenty of time for this young 16-year-old to go back, learn a little bit more, and don't be surprised if you see this guy starting to dominate a variety of different disciplines in the future. It's exciting. We've been wondering for so long when he would start to rise onto the scene, and it has started.
Yeah, Garrett Meacham is young in his own right, but he's going up against a 16-year-old. I wonder if you feel any pressure there. Awesome 360s from both of the variation there on the right of your screen.
So that's the difference here. Garrett Meacham has been honing his craft for longer. He's a bit older. He's thrown in those big variations, the bar spin on the 360 and the flip.
That's a technical trick for Jackson.
All right, so Garrett advancing into the round of 8. Let's throw a headset on him and catch up. Lil Red, how's it going?
Oh man, having a great time.
Garrett, we're impressed with your riding so far. How much of it is strategy, and have you got any bigger tricks in the bag?
A few bigger tricks, but I think going on throughout the night, maybe stick to same stuff, maybe not, we'll see.
Now, Garrett, you've been an athlete who's kind of crossed over a lot of different sports, but it seems like a couple years ago when you did your first Crankworx event here in Rotorua, it seemed like you finally found the one that was going to stick. Have you just been focusing on any discipline in particular? And if so, is speed and style that discipline?
I've actually been focusing on about 6 different disciplines, starting with slopestyle. Then I go to dual slalom, speed and style, downhill occasionally, and enduro every once in a while when I feel like it.
Well, that was cool to see you knocking out Jackson Goldstone, because I feel like he has that same approach. Just be a Crankworx athlete. So it's going good for you. Good luck in the rest of the rounds, Garrett.
Sweet, man. Thank you.
Cheers. All right, let's take a look at the brackets right now. Of course, the man we just spoke to, Garrett Meacham, advancing into the round of 8, but that's going to be a tough heat for Garrett going up against Max Fredriksson. We're excited to see that. Look at the other 3.
Yeah, Greg Watts, Sam Reynolds, we've seen those guys go head-to-head before. We've got some humdingers to come back after the break.
Yes, round of 8 set in stone here in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. You'd be a fool to leave now. We'll see you in a bit. Hey there, mountain bike fans of the world. You came to the right place. Hopefully you're cozied up on your couch watching us live on Red Bull TV from Rotorua, New Zealand, mountain bike town on the North Island. And you're right in the middle of the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. And we've got the round of 8 all set for you. Those brackets have been determined. And we're excited to chip away at the field and figure out who's going to be taking away the medals tonight. But we're even more excited to keep the energy rolling. Tomorrow is going to be a huge day. Of course, there's slopestyle, but in the evening, under the lights, it's going to be all about the RockShox Rotorua Pump Track Challenge, 8 o'clock p.m. local time. And if you remember, just 7 months ago, the last time we had a Crankworx event, of course, tradition, we had a pump track event, and this guy, Tommy Zula, took the gold medal. Now we caught up to see what his bike setup looks like this year. Take a look.
We've got Tommy Zula here. He's going to show us his super sweet rod out bike here and give us a little rundown.
Yeah, this is my super sweet Airborne Skyhawk, RockShox Pike, stands wheels front and rear, V tires, DD cockpit.
Wide rims there. What's that all about?
Yeah, super wide. We're going for maximum traction on that pump track and on those flat corners. Stands bearing wheels about 35 mil.
Nice. And what PSIs you running?
Max pressure, top secret.
When the pump stops pushing, that's when you're ready.
Christina Chapata there with our pink bike check. Tommy Zula will be looking to make it 2 events in a row with a gold medal around his neck. He'll be doing pump track tomorrow night. But it's time we explain to you, we got a third member of our team hanging out right now. We look similar. That's confusing. That's weird. This is my brother, Tyler McCall. Of course, he's going to be joining me tomorrow for the slopestyle, but we figured he's here. We might as well have him join us for speed and style broadcast because he's a speed and style competitor. He has won it in Whistler before. He would be competing out here right now, except he's got crutches. Bummer, he's healing up. But Ty, what do you make of the competition so far? You've been watching, obviously.
It's good, yeah. They changed up the course a little bit, changed the position of the first jump, and the riders aren't as close together side to side, so they can actually kind of focus on doing the trick they want, not worry about hitting the guy next to them. They changed up the roller section, added some berms at the bottom, and the riders seem to really be liking the jumps. They had some wind all day, so practice was minimal, but the usual suspects are seeming to shine, and there's some new guys as well that are going super fast. So it should be a good show. It's already been good so far, and here's our brackets. We got some heavy heats right off the back with LEMOINE and Billy MEACLEM.
Yeah, I mean, unique opportunity to be able to have you here with us in the booth. Usually you're one of the names here in the round of 8, but I say you just stick around and help us call the action here. It's already been a great show. We're seeing some young faces looking strong, LIEB, MEACLEM, etc. Right now it's all about one of those known faces, Tomas LEMOINE, going up against the winner from last year, one of our New Zealand discoveries who burst onto the scene here in Rotorua. That is kind of a tradition right now. We kicked it off with Keegan Wright, who made a name for himself and now is a global sensation. Joe Simpson, Connor Mahuika, and last year, Billy MEACLEM, who's now kind of a fixture on the Crankworx World Tour, making it to all 3 events last year. Expect to see him doing the same here in the 2020 season. Looking to at least get on the podium again to back up his performance from last year, but wow, heavy competition in the form of Tomas LEMOINE.
Our #1 qualifier, LEMOINE, 2018 series champion. Wow, 360 double bar to X-up, big from him.
I think LEMOINE knows this is not going to be an easy heat, so he decided to throw that extra X-up in there and get some bonus points, and then he's going to try to stay on pace with Billy here.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Side-by-side action here in the final straightaway. Who's going to cross the line first?
That's
almost no one, huh?
It's about as close as it gets right there. Tomas LEMOINE, anytime you get racked up with him, you got to pull out all the stops. But you can tell he was a little worried about Billy. He knows Billy has tricks, Billy has speed. So Tomas always has stuff in the reserve and just throws extra bar spins or X-ups in there and gets as many points as he can.
Here we go. We're seeing that again right now here with Billy's score. A 98 for the first jump, an 88 for the second jump. So Tyler, we were talking about it earlier. We were wondering if the judges were going to be docking him for repeating tricks on the way down. This is going to be tough now that he's going up against a guy like LEMOINE who's got tricks like this on both of the jumps. Big variations.
Right. Tomas can basically pull out anything he wants. But yeah, Billy did the same trick on both jumps, which the judges sometimes dock you for. They don't like you to see a repeat tricks there. Tomas doing the same thing with the double bar spin, but one was a 360, one was a backflip. So that not considered a repeat. Triple combo. First one was actually a quad combo, 2 bar spins, X up, and a 3.
So it's not just about the riding strategy, it's about the thought processes, the choices made along the way. So that's the difference between a rider who burst onto the scene 12 months ago and a veteran, former world champion in this discipline, Tomas LEMOINE, 2nd overall last year. But here we go, heat number 2 in this round of 8. David LIEB looking ridiculously strong. He's going to need to pull everything out if he wants to advance past Adrien LORON.
So Adrien again, out the gate like a rocket. He's trying to put some pressure on his competitors here. David, wow, did he get the triple there, Tyler?
Yeah, that was 3 bar spins, and man, he has to pull that out, because anytime you get in the gate with Adrien LORON, it's pretty embarrassing, because he just shoots out of that thing like a rocket ship.
And you would know, you're in this field all the time. Unfortunately, hurt this run. Wow, he's got some big tricks.
David with the backflip double bar spin. He's got the tricks of a FMB World Tour caliber rider, working his way up on the slopestyle scene, so it's good to see him here trying his hand at speed and style, and he is not disappointing.
Well, this will be a good example of a run where the tricks could actually help him out in advance. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So he's turned the tables there, as you said, Cam.
1.36 taken off this time on the first jump, 1.26 taken off from the trick on the second jump. And there's no way through just racing this course you'd be able to find that amount of time on any individual section.
Now you can see Adrian's technique, BMX background. He's doing a lot of manualing with a pump, and you can see David, more dirt jump style. He's got the hands quite narrow, and he doesn't even go for the manual on some of them. He's rolling them, and that sometimes it's obviously not as fast.
Right, Loron's technique in the rollers, except for he made a little mistake in the last one, but he basically hits every single one of those rollers exactly how you need to get maximum speed out of them.
All right, Greg Watts, left side of your screen, going up against Sam Reynolds. This should be a pretty even match here.
Greg's been building a slalom track at his house in Nevada. Looks pretty similar to this course here. He's been training really hard, backflip double bar spin. We've seen Sam Reynolds doing the Dark Fest Series stuff lately, so we're not sure how much time he's been spending on his hardtail, but it looks like he has not slowed down since last season. So
no, that's a component racing. He's definitely got, Tyler. He's always got the speed. But he's going to need a lot of speed because Greg Watts, look at him score in that first jump.
Notice Greg's been making up a lot of time in those last flat corners too, but Sam Reynolds, what you get out of him is consistency. He's always fast, his tricks are always dialed, and he keeps consistent throughout the whole day, which in an event like this is super important.
Yeah, it shows, doesn't it? But Greg Watts is sneaky fast in those lower flat turns. I'm glad you noticed that, because he doesn't become the rider he is with all these podiums without the speed.
Exactly. Both these riders have the full package, and they are the epitome of speed and style.
So, of course, we're hanging out at Skyline Gravity Park here in Rotorua, New Zealand, known for great riding, this town in particular. But this entire country is just full of mountain bike trails. It's basically spreading across the North and South Island. But one of the builders out here from a lot of the courses, Tom Hay, he's responsible for the slopestyle course, the speed style course. He's been working with Mons Royal on a bike park near Wanaka on the southern island, which is really taking shape. Take a look at some of those trails.
Bike Glendale was born from a couple of good people around here who just wanted more trails to ride. Got about 30 kilometers of trail here, which is going to vastly improve the network here and yeah, just give people a good time on their bikes, which is one of the most rewarding parts of the job. Mons gear is awesome for working just because out here we've had pretty much every type of weather and the merino keeps you nice and warm and when it's nice to blow in a southerly. For riding it's just nice and fresh and light to wear. On the top, epic views, it's about a 6 kilometer downhill all the way back to the bottom. Thousands of people are going to have a great time riding it.
Well, it's great to see mountain biking is growing at such a rapid rate across the world, but specifically in the nation of New Zealand and of course right here in Rotorua. But we got to give big thanks to Mons Royal and Tom Hay for just spreading the trails across this beautiful country. More to ride. If you ever get the opportunity to come down here, make sure you don't pass it up. But right now, you've come to the right place. If you like speed and style action, we've got a really fast heat in the gate with Max Fredriksson and Garrett Meacham, two riders who've been fast all day, but they both have ridiculous variations for us.
And this is where Max is going to have to throw some of those big slope style tricks in here. Wow, triple there, Tyler.
Wow, I was curious to see if Garrett was going to throw in another bar spin there to keep up with Max, but Rojo's been making up a lot of speed in those rollers right there.
So this is, look at Garrett, how fast he is here.
Right, he's pulling away from Max.
Oh,
whoa. Those tricks should score pretty similarly.
Oh, and he's missed the gate.
Fredriksson missing the gate. Now, this is kind of the difference right here between a slope style focused athlete who just decided last minute to try speed and style, and then a guy like Garrett Meacham who's been coming back here year after year, really trying to hone the broad skill set that you need to triumph in this discipline. Garrett strong through the flat corners. Max Fredriksson going long on that flip tuck no-hander, which is something that you always see in first-time competitors in speed and style. Racing the course and then going, oh no, I'm going too fast for this jump.
So let's have a look here. Oh, pushing way too hard, choosing to bunny up instead of braking, but I mean, that's going to give him a huge max differential here.
That's the challenge of speed and style. When you're playing catch up, you get a little panicky and you start going too fast for the jumps. You start making mistakes in the corners.
Yeah, and as you can see, his bike's not exactly set up for slalom turns. One brake's there to slalom bike.
And that's a mechanical brake. There. That's not even a hydraulic disc.
Yeah, it's not the best feeling brake most of the time.
Both of the riders.
Nor does it work when you always wanted to.
That's crazy. Both of the riders running those detanglers, which aren't going to help the efficiency of that brake whatsoever. One of them, that hydraulic probably works a little bit better than that mechanical, so it's impressive to see MEACLEM going so fast, making his name yellow with that mechanical gyro brake. Here we go, back up to the top. Tomas LEMOINE, second place in the overall speed and style standings last year, fourth place in this event last year. He's leading Billy MEACLEM, the winner from 12 months ago, by about a half a second.
Okay, riders ready.
Okay, riders, ready to start. Riders ready, watch the brake.
So neck and neck here into the first jump. Well, flip, 1 foot can there. So Thomas has the advantage here, but he can't play it safe.
Well, MEACLEM really committing to that backflip, one-footed can every single jump of every run so far here. MEACLEM through the line first by 0.12 over Tomas LEMOINE, but check out those trick scores from LEMOINE, equaling out to 1.26 seconds off, meaning that he will triumph out of this round.
Tyler, how often did you change your strategy going against different competitors? You know, someone you know like Greg Watts, you kind of know his bag of tricks. Did that change your strategy at all versus someone you didn't know?
With a rider like Greg, he does the tricks that get really high scores, and he never, knock on wood, never screws them up. He's a robot. So when you're against a rider like that, who you know is most likely going to get a better score than you, you just stick to your guns and try to ride as flawlessly as you can. Try to go fast, land your tricks perfect, and just hope that it's enough. But a rider like Greg just keeps getting faster and faster, and his tricks have been on lock since day one. So that's why we always see him out here in the round of 8, round of 4, round of 2, and he's always a heavy hitter.
So Greg's a rider that you kind of just know is so flexible that you have to just stick to your guns. Who's a rider you could give as an example of somebody who you would actually change your tricks for? Would that be more of a racer where you're trying to compensate?
Well, now you're going to put me on the spot. But yeah, if somebody is clearly faster than I am, then I might try to throw in a harder trick, but I'm not going to do something too hard that I could screw up, because if you screw up trying to get more bonus time out of a better trick, then they're just going to pull away even more. So there's like so many head games that go into this event, and that's why it's fun, and that's why you see the usual guys consistently in the round of 8, because it takes a lot of experience. And LORON here is like him, LEMOINE, Watts, Reynolds. When are they not in the round of 8? These guys are always up there. But LIEB is here to shake things up. I told you, Cam, the other day, I was calling him for top 3. He's full package. He's got world-class tricks, and we'll see if he pulls some up here, because he's got to make up some time on Adrien.
Yeah, look at him go.
Double tail whip, perfect to pedals. Now he's got to make up some time in these rollers here, because Adrian's just going to run away through that section. But
yeah, this is his strategy. He's going as fast as he can. He's able to spin at speed, and here he's flipping at pretty good speed.
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be a close round. Clearly, LORON is ahead, but LIEB's tricks going to score him a lot more points. So we'll see how this breaks down.
LIEB a 126 for the double tail up on jump number 1.
But look at Adrien, he's got a solid 98, so he's only losing 0.2 of a second on that first jump, and then he loses quite a lot on the last one.
And another 126 on the bottom. I believe that was a backflip double bar spin.
Right.
So LIEB having to make up 0.96, but with strong trick scores. LIEB
does it.
Dance.
Wow,
there we go.
0.02.
That's classic speed and style for you right there. And Tyler, this is looking like a pretty strong prediction.
Adrien LORON's better off just doing a 360 on the second jump and getting docked the 10 points for, you know, doing the same trick on both jumps. He's losing too much.
LIEB in the round of 4. I believe this is the first time, we've seen him in the round of 4. And if he has to, he could triple tail whip that top jump. He could flip, backflip, tail whip to bar spin the second jump. He has so many tricks that he could pull out a lot in these future rounds, especially if he gets up against a rider like LEMOINE.
So basically, look at a rider who's ridiculously strong and then know in the back of your mind they have more in the tank. Let's throw a headset on him and really put him on the spot.
David, we are so excited to see you here. You're in the round of 4. How does it feel for you?
Oh, this is my best night ever in speed and style so far, so I'm going to try my best to keep it going. That was a tough battle, though, against LORON. Definitely a good fight.
Well, we've known that you're capable for a long time, so it's good to see you in the round of 4. Not sure who you racked up against next, but will we see you pull out some harder tricks depending on who you're on? Because we know you have a huge bag of tricks.
I think I'm going to probably stick with what I've been doing just because it's consistent, and I'm not going to take too much of a risk and like keep my focus on speed a little bit. So, yeah, that's my strategy for the next round.
Well, and he's smart, strong on the bike and smart. So we're hoping all the chips fall your way, David LIEB. Keep the momentum rolling. We'll be cheering for you. Get back up there.
I'll do my best. Thank you, guys.
Right on. That's David LIEB, and we're going to take a look at some brackets here to see who he will be going up against. Because, Tyler, you made the prediction early on, knowing how strong he is, how much he's been practicing, and the fact that his speed, a lot of these young riders are cultivating a broad skill set instead of just focusing on being slopestyle competitors. They're working on their speed, and I think it's the fact that this discipline has been growing. You're seeing more riders take it seriously, and it's really just growing up a stronger generation of athlete. Here we go, Greg Watts going up against Sam Reynolds.
Oh, he's missed something there. Sam Reynolds just with a clean 360.
Well, that's really going to leave the door open for Watts here.
Start there, Sam Reynolds, Greg Watts on course.
So Sam Reynolds says he doesn't take this event too seriously. He's often cool, calm, and collected. There he gets his trick. Backflip tuck, no-hander.
Well, Watts with the backflip bar spin to bar spin back. That's going to score huge.
That first jump is really going to hurt Sam Reynolds here. That is not as consistent as we're used to seeing out of him.
Greg getting a backflip bar spin. It's a suicide no-hander on the first jump, which we don't even have the time to talk about how technical that is. But he's the only person you're going to see do that, and he gets rewarded for it for the points from the judges.
So Greg Watts advancing.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistake from Sam Reynolds. We know he's got more tricks than just this clean 360 on that first jump. But Greg Watts was always going to be tough to beat with what he just threw out there.
Yeah, it's the consistency of Watts that makes him so dangerous, and the fact you just never know what tricks he's going to choose against you. Probably fluctuates more than any other speed and style competitor out there. Now Max Fredriksson, a newbie to this discipline, 3.13 to make up behind Garrett Meacham.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if he can just cross the line before him and do no tricks at a 0-0, Max is just almost near impossible to beat him.
Right, he's got to just play it smart right here. He probably doesn't have to pull out very hard tricks. He's just got to stay ahead.
Wow. He's literally not listening to you, Tyler.
He wants to show these guys he's here to play.
Yeah, that was definitely risky. I mean, he can basically free wheel and just be ahead of Max here, and he'll take this win. You can see Max isn't even trying. Garrett Meacham doesn't care.
He's got a 3-second lead, and he snuck in another
That shows
combo
how
on the first
comfortable
jump
he
there.
is on those tricks, though, if he feels he can land them consistently.
Well, maybe his strategy is that he knows he has a good chance of making it through this round. He knows the next heat isn't going to be an easy one, so he wanted to try those tricks, get him dialed for the next round. We'll see who he's going to be bracketed up against.
Oh, ask and you shall receive. I'm curious as well. So we're going to take a look at those brackets right now. Garrett Meacham eliminating Max Fredriksson. We just saw Greg Watts eliminate Sam Reynolds. So those two will meet up in the round of 4, the semifinals. And the other bracket we'll have is Tomas LEMOINE against David LIEB. So an accomplished veteran going up against a youngster in both heats in the semifinals. We got more for you in the semifinals as well. We've got 4 in the women field who we will catch up with to debut Speed and Style in Rotorua for the women. We did it in Whistler last year, so we're carrying the momentum into the 2020 season here. Speed and Style action coming up after the break. It's semifinals time here in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale, and we're going to invite the women's category into the mix here. Now, it was a trial experiment in Whistler, and it came back with great results. And so we're bringing it to the 2020 World Tour, but here is somebody who you would never expect to not be up for a challenge, Jill KINTNER. She won the Air DH 2 nights ago, and last night she did this against Casey Brown in slalom finals. It came down to these two athletes. Casey qualified second, Jill qualified first, and they met up in the finals. We always love when we see that happen. Two fastest racers duking it out for gold medals. Casey absolutely holding her own here against Jill, but when it was all said and done, KINTNER would do what she does best, and that is grab that gold medal. Well, Casey Brown, she got second place in Speed and Style last year in Whistler as well, so we caught up with this well-rounded athlete to see how she handles nutrition during these busy weeks.
During this hectic week, Crankworx definitely puts a toll on all the riders, and I find it super valuable to have your nutrition dialed. I just try and pack in as many fruits and vegetables as I can, and try and eat around the event, so like not eating too close to an event, not eating too far away. Usually about like 2 hours before an event I'll have a meal, all pretty much plant-based, and yeah, always have like a Clif bar on hand, because those, I mean, I trust so much that they have the right amount of carbs, sugars, fats, and everything to take me down the trail and make sure that I'm at peak performance. The reason why I steer away from animal products is because mostly the environment, and also I feel like it makes me burn at a higher octane feeling kind of riding. So yeah, I just always felt that eating a heavy meat or dairy or anything like that would always hold me back. So yeah, going towards the plant-based thing was always kind of natural for me anyways.
I've been on some long trips with Casey Brown, and she is always the one to pick her brain when it comes to nutrition, and you know, she puts it to good use during these busy Crankworx weeks. Unfortunately, she had a crash here in speed and style practice, not able to compete, so that's leaving the door open for somebody else here to battle Jill KINTNER. It's not going to be 2 nights in a row, 1 and 2 for KINTNER and Brown. So Jordy SCOTT, she won speed and style in Whistler the 2019 season. KINTNER was not competing in speed and style then. Let's see how this shakes down.
Yeah, and interesting to note, Jill KINTNER qualifying only in 3rd position. So Jordy SCOTT, what tricks can she throw down here? There you have, going for the tuck no-hander.
Jordy's the full package in this speed and style event. I was watching her in qualifying. She has tricks, she has speed, and look at that. She's holding her own against Jill KINTNER, who is arguably the fastest gated racer there is.
So
Jordy
another
SCOTT
one
with a tire grab there. So she's really hanging close to Jill KINTNER and getting the tricks in. Look at that, 0.67 between KINTNER and SCOTT.
Yeah, but she's made almost, she's going to make 0.5 up just on the first jump. She's better on the next jump. Jill's getting docked for not doing anything. This is really cool. This is just showing where the tricks are going to play into these riders' strengths.
Well, this is what Andrew's talking about right here. Minus 0.3 for Jill for not doing the trick. We don't see that very often, but that is what the penalty looks like if you don't do a trick. But Jordy SCOTT just running away with the advantage here, grabbing so many time benefits from those tricks. The no-hander on the first jump, the tire grab on the second jump. She will be the rider to beat when we get them back up to the top of the course and switch sides. So, next up in the gate, another tough heat. Vaea VERBEECK, the reigning queen of Crankworx from the 2019 season. This is how she did it, Andrew.
Well, look at that, top 10 in 13 events, but she had wins to boot. She wasn't just playing it safe. Look at there. Wins in downhill, wins in slalom, wins in pump track. There again, another slalom win. She was a dominant force last year.
So the big story here in the 2020 season for the Queen of Crankworx race, will Jill KINTNER come back and grab that crown again? She did not compete in a full season last year. Vaea grabbed the Queen title. And she's gonna have to get past Kialani HINES here if she wants to get some points over Jill in speed and style.
Kialani, your #1 qualifier.
Oh!
A no-hander from Vaea, but the nose started dipping. Kialani got a handle from what I could see, and clearly she's focusing on speed as well.
Vaea's doing bigger tricks than Bas.
You are not joking there.
Kialani's got more tricks than Bubba.
Oh!
There you go. Vaea's got some good tricks as well. Kialani going for the toboggan from what it seemed. This is cool.
This is a good round right here. They're putting their boyfriends to shame.
Oh my God. I mean,
you said it.
If you put Austin and Bas on the same course, I think Vaea and Kialani would beat them in the tricks. All right, that was pretty cool. I think we're going to see a women's category in speed and style for the rest of the year. Hopefully with riders like Vaea VERBEECK and Kialani HINES stepping outside of their comfort zone, doing no-handers and toboggans. Of course, a toboggan is taking one hand, putting it on the seat, tweaking out the handlebars. That's how you get those points. Vaea, the reigning queen of Crankworx. And if you're new to watching Crankworx, what does it mean to be the queen? What does it mean to be the king? Well, for all the disciplines here at all the stops, 3 stops across the world, you get points depending on where you finish on the leaderboard. Simply put, at the end of the season, the man with the most points is the king. The woman with the most points is the queen. You get big bucks. It's not just a nice sparkly crown. Last year, Mitch Ropelato took home the big bucks. for King. Vaea VERBEECK grabbed the dough for Queen, and this is what the current standings look like for the 2020 season. Jill KINTNER back for a full World Tour campaign. She's already won 2 events, 100 points per, so she has an 80-point lead over Vaea VERBEECK. So expect to see them battling it out all season. Big points are going to mean a lot from this speed and style event. And we're back to men's racing action here. Here's what the semifinals look like.
And if you've forgotten, Tomas LEMOINE, your #1 qualifier, will be up against David LIEB. And here's our danger man, Greg Watts against Garrett Meacham. They're in our other semifinal matchup.
I like this. In both of these semifinals heats, we have an established veteran with a lot of medals in speed and style going up against a youngster who's looking to add to their tally.
Now I want to see what tricks they pull out, because these guys can both pull out so much. So we'll see what tricks they decide to go with here.
Tomas LEMOINE, double bossman to X up 360.
David sticking with that double tail. Solid trick, really good score on that one.
But Tomas LEMOINE, this is where he's coming to his own. He's out front on the speed factor of this race. Wow! Double bossman backflip for him.
Matching tricks on the second jump there. Let's see if David can make up some time in those flat turns. Not too far behind there.
Wow, LEMOINE getting such a high score for that 360 double bar spin to X up. 10 points higher than the double whip of David LIEB. But they tied each other. That'll be a wash on the second jump, a pair of backflip double bar spins. So LEMOINE crossing the finish line first and getting a better score on jump #1. That will mean he will be the leader going into their second run. Let's take a look back at slow-mo. I love this angle.
Great angle. There's the deep bag of tricks. LEMOINE stepping it up from some other runs.
Both of those tricks are super high scoring in speed and style, so it's great to see them doing that side by side. Their speed was really on point, but LEMOINE just showing that extra experience in this event. Arguably one of the hardest guys to beat out there.
Yeah, showing his true class there. David LIEB, yes, he's a rookie, but he's got a deep bag of tricks. Tomas LEMOINE experience shining through there.
All right, so the veteran grabbing the advantage there in semifinal heat #1. How about semifinal heat #2? The veteran Greg Watts going up against the youngster Garrett Meacham.
I'm not going to play too many favorites here, and there's no judgment on Greg, but my money's on Garrett. He qualified second, and he's really been looking great through these heats.
Both of these riders originally coming from the Santa Cruz County area, California, meeting up all the way down here on the other side of the world.
Oh, bossman to bossman back, but Greg is trying to make me eat my words here. I kind of knew he's going to try to put something out there.
Greg loves giving Garrett a hard time, calling him a grom, making fun of him all the time, so he's not going to want to lose this round right here, so he's going to pull out everything he can.
Oh, look at that. Oh, go, wow. No, Garrett's made a mistake.
Wow.
Oh, that's going to cost him huge.
Man, that was going to be a dead even heat. Garrett was putting some pressure on Greg there. He's been getting faster every time he comes to these events. So much potential from that young rider right there.
So you're saying there's a bit of bragging rights internally between these two, like a bit of banter at the top?
Friendly banter, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Bubba Warren and Kyle Strait.
Exactly. It's more than just that round. It's the bragging rights for what's to come after that.
Wow, I mean, Garrett Meacham was holding no punches there, throwing a more difficult variation on the last jump than what he's been doing, and then somehow holding on, almost missing the gate. Let's take a look back. So Garrett Meacham, the backflip bar spin to 1-footed can.
Wow, that is technical.
Greg Watts, the backflip bar spin to suicide no-hander, but look at this save. Watch his eyes. He's eyes up, feet off, making sure that he didn't miss a gate. I don't know how he held on.
That is incredible.
That was an impressive recovery right there, man.
That is too good. Look at him hard on the pedals like nothing didn't happen.
And he was actually ahead of Greg right there going into that second jump.
This is such a shame, man. Just blowing those pedals, feet straight off the pedals.
Never say die here.
He's like, what? Nothing happened. Let's go.
Well, it's not over yet.
We've seen that approach from Garrett exemplified multiple times here tonight. Remember when he had such a huge advantage, yet he still went for the fastest run with the biggest tricks? Garrett is so determined out there, but Greg Watts leading this matchup by a little bit over a second here. So Greg Watts is a rider who started out in slopestyle. He won Joyride in 2009, and we've only got a few hours to go until we kick off the Crankworx FMBA Slopestyle World Championship here at the first stop of the Crankworx World Tour. 2:00 p.m. local time down here in New Zealand is when the action will kick off, and we will see who will start the season strong. Brett Reeder taking a bit of a break here at the beginning of the 2020 season. Hopefully we see him come back, but that will leave the door open for some of the younger riders. So don't miss that slopestyle action tomorrow. But here we go, back to racing action here. Speed and style, women's category. Now Jordy SCOTT, she won in Whistler 7 months ago. And now that this is a big time discipline with points up for grabs, you see Jill KINTNER taking part in this. Jill KINTNER, somebody who's won more than any other women in the field, but she's never competed in an event where you're encouraged to do tricks. So we saw her get time added to her run score in run number 1. Let's see if she can play some defense here in run number 2.
She's got to work to her strength, so she's got to get the speed factor down, but she's neck and neck. So she's ETing the first jump. That's a start.
Jordy just sticking with exactly what she did in the first run. She knows that she beat Jill KINTNER in run number 1. So if she can do that again, she'll find herself in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, she's neck and neck. No, she's a wheel ahead in speed with more tricks. But this is looking good for Jordy SCOTT.
Jordy SCOTT getting that tire grab again and really hanging tight. Let's talk about how when you do a trick, you're probably going to lose a little bit of speed as well because you're popping a little bit higher. But somehow, Jordy SCOTT sticking so close to Jill KINTNER while getting the trick. So 140 points for jump number 1 and 80 for jump number 2. But Jill KINTNER doing a good job not having any time added on, doing those ETs. So Jordy SCOTT,
I noticed that
here
in the first run too. She doesn't lose any speed when she does her tricks, and that's something about speed and style. Sometimes when you have to do a trick, you have to go higher, you lose speed. But she's able to stay low, get her hands off, get them back on, and get on the pedals right away as soon as she touches the ground.
Well, Jordy SCOTT is obviously the racer to talk about here when it comes to women's category speed and style. She won in Whistler, and now she's looking like the girl to beat here in the 2020 season. What do you say we throw a headset on her and have a chat, shall we?
Jordy, you must be ecstatic getting through Jill KINTNER. How much have you been working on your tricks in the off-season?
Honestly, I've just been working on my pump track, and at my bike park there's a few jumps, so every time I go out there I try to throw a few of my favorite tricks, and that's about it. But this is one of my favorite events, so I think the enjoyment of it really helps me perform.
So the tuck no handers, you say it's not something that you've been practicing specifically for. You had to put some time into that because that takes some technique. How did you learn it?
I learned it at Woodward probably, I'd say, 3 or 4 years ago, just being a young kid wanting to do what the big guy rippers were doing. So I just kind of went off and was doing downhill racing for a bit. So this past 2 years I've been trying to bring tricks back in because there's something I really enjoy doing. So yeah, just trying to have fun.
Well, perfect. Now there's a platform for those tricks to come in handy. You're pretty stoked that you happened to learn them a few years ago. Now keep applying them to hopefully get a gold medal if all goes your way. Good luck out there.
Yep, thank you.
Well, there we go. Jordy SCOTT making her way into the final. We got to figure out who she's going to go up against.
Well, we've got that next matchup. Kialani HINES and Vaea VERBEECK, 2 heavy hitters here.
So Vaea VERBEECK, of course, not known for her tricks, but she's been digging deep and pulling them out. She's more accustomed to these race events, and we had to check up with her on how she's developed such a strong gate start.
So overall, like when we do our time trials for pump track or slalom, speed and style, they're all very, very tight courses because they're not like super technical like downhill. It's not like a big routes or line choices. Like it's just kind of riding on the edge. So everybody is basically riding the tracks around the same speeds, around the same rhythms. So where you can make up time is very limited. So doing a good gate is where you can actually get like a quarter second per line. And so with the addition of, you know, the right course and the left course combined times, if I can have half a second, it's actually a huge margin compared to the usual stack of how we stack.
Well, luckily for Vaea, this is a unique event to where you can pick up a half a second, a quarter of a second in one individual part of this racetrack that's typically raced at similar speeds throughout competitors by doing a trick. She's been taking her hands off as well and picking up at least a half a second for those efforts. We'll see what she does here in run 2 against Kialani HINES.
So Kialani HINES needing to make up some time here and throw a few tricks in. One-hander for her. Vaea going with the no-hander herself.
Now Kialani snuck in a little combo there. She also didn't run 1 and didn't get rewarded from the judges. So we'll see if she gets a little reward for that there. She did the one-hander and got a pedal in.
Oh no! Big crash. That could have been even way worse. Vaea, ever the sports lady here.
Wow.
Oh no. We never want to see that.
So Kialani HINES going down on the final jump here. Will allow the medical staff an opportunity to give her all the attention she needs. But great sportsmanship here from Vaea VERBEECK, setting her bike down, making sure that her friend is okay. I mean, these girls ride together all the time. Yeah, they're competitors who are, you know, trying to get the gold medal from each other, but you know, they're good friends. Of course, she cares. She's going to hang out, make sure that Kialani's doing all right. I already hear a round of applause.
Yeah,
so
I
that's a good
hear
sign.
that too. That's a really good sign. And doesn't matter if you're not the best of mates or fierce rivalries, you never want to see someone get hurt. So we've got some great sportsmanship in our sport.
It's true though, watching her go over the bars there, it could have been so much worse. I thought she was going to clip and not even touch back
Yeah,
tire.
that was bucked from the get-go. That we never want to see that, and that could have been way worse. So she'll probably get up later tonight or tomorrow and realize that could have been worse.
Oh, there we go. We're getting a little update on screen right now. Kialani on her knees there, talking to our medical officials.
Like you guys said, she was able to muscle that out and make it a lot better than it could have been.
Yeah.
Not saying that was an easy crash, but
no, it's still hard. She still hit at the flat bottom, coming down with a lot of speed there, but it's courageous what everyone's doing out here. They make it look so easy, but it can go wrong, you know, in a blink of an eye. And I think that's what we up here in the booth forget, and some of the racers start forgetting it, and the viewers at home don't understand it sometimes. Like, it can go bad real quickly.
Right, and I mean, credit to Kialani. She's going up against racers who are doing no-handers. She doesn't have no-handers, so she's playing toward her strengths, trying to dig deep and do what she can. The one-hander to ET, which is a nice combo, but yeah, it's totally a lot to think about when your entire career has just been based around racing. You're thinking, all right, not only do I have to hit this jump, I got to do all these things in the right order. Take the hand off, put the hand back on, take a pedal. So just going a little bit too nosy right there. So more applause.
More applause is good. It's
sign.
always good. So yeah, we never want to see someone go down. It's great when they get up so quickly, and you know, credit where credit's due. These ladies are risking it, and they're doing more tricks than some of the men competitors. So, I mean,
they're
that's
boyfriends,
great.
to be specific.
Well, you guys have been digging at that. I'm leaving that one alone.
they're going to be mad at us later. But these girls are doing big stuff out here, and that's the thing with speed and style is it's hard to keep the speed going and do the tricks. So Kialani
and that's a shame.
That
it was our
jump.
#1 qualifier, so she was expected to hopefully make the final. But Vaea VERBEECK stepping it up, she'll be going into the final.
All right, well, great to see Kialani up under her own power, working through, figuring out what's sore right now. But let's talk about what that means for the finals right now. I mean, we had 2 racers who are taking their hands off, and both of them will be duking it out for a gold medal now. Jordy SCOTT and Vaea VERBEECK. They're both looking fast, so that's going to be a really tight race. You see there on screen, Jordy SCOTT versus Vaea VERBEECK. We'll see if we can get Kialani ready for a bronze medal matchup. If not, that will go to Jill KINTNER. We'll keep you updated on that as we focus our attention back to the men's category here in the gate. The rider with the advantage and the long list of accolades in this discipline, Tomas LEMOINE from France. Now, we caught up with Tomas LEMOINE earlier, and he had this to say.
I want to focus on slopestyle and speed and style this time. Then pretty much I just want to do my best on the free ones. but I'm not trying to put like a certain place I see myself. Like I'm not telling myself I want to win speed and style. I know I could because I won some. I did some podium. I did some fourth. I did worse than that. I know it's possible, and I feel like if I'm healthy and I'm trying my best, I don't want to put too much pressure with like telling myself I have to do this place. I did good seasons before, so I know I can do good. I work for it. It could work. I hope I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, Lemoine, it could work, and it very well might. We're about ready to find out. His name is Yellow, so he has the advantage, but David LIEB, man, looking so strong today with that double tailwhip and the backflip double bar spin. LIEB, an opportunity to knock out a Goliath here. It should be good.
Well, Tyler, can he dig real deep into that trick bag here? David LIEB's got to throw something just out of this world to get that time back.
I mean, Lemoine is human. It is possible for him to make mistakes.
And we've seen it. He's made mistakes back to back, so yeah, anything can happen and will happen in this type of racing.
David is riding extremely consistent. He changed his trick there. Was that a double truck driver?
Yeah, it looked like it, but so from Tomas LEMOINE. So neck and neck, kind of in the tricks here and the speed. Tomas LEMOINE, though, edging out in front.
Oh!
David LIEB not getting his tricks that he needs. I think that's going to be all she wrote.
Well, speed and style can definitely mess with your mind. We talked to David LIEB earlier, and he said he's going to stick with his plan, but you never know how many times you might second-guess yourself when you get into the gate against a rider like Tomas LEMOINE. So LIEB bobbling on the last jump there, not getting that flip double bar spin that he needed. LEMOINE crossing the finish line first, so he will advance into the final. You know, his quest to get a little bit of redemption after those 2 mistakes last year seems to be going in the right direction. LEMOINE into the final. Who will join him in that gold medal bracket? Will it be the veteran on the right side of your screen, Greg Watts, or the youngster who's coming out swinging this year, Garrett Meacham, back by 1.13?
So will Greg Watts play it a little bit safer here in his tricks? Whoa! 720 clean! Garrett, you nutter!
What are you talking about, Garrett Meacham?
Well, let's hope he didn't play it clean. I mean, jeez, can't even speak, but look at it. Greg's matched him.
You got to imagine Greg saw that too, so he knows he's got to stay close.
Yeah, but Greg's got a second to play with, and he's matched him on the first jump. Wow. Oh, that was exciting, guys. Well, Garrett Meacham laying it all on the line there in the first hit.
Okay, so 0.7 time difference. What is the score going to be? They were even on the first jump, so 119 for Garrett Meacham and a 133 for Greg Watts.
Wow.
It's really going to come down to the math here. Who's going to go meet Tomas LEMOINE in the final? It's going to be Greg Watts. Wow.
That was an unbelievable run.
So
Garrett Meacham.
This is the thing with Greg's tricks here. Garrett's looks like it's much more of a showstopper. Both these tricks are high scoring. Greg's isn't as flashy, but it's a technical trick. And it's a super high scoring trick. So they actually got the same score on that one. By first glance, you would think that Garrett's would get a higher score, but both those tricks almost getting the maximum points you can get onto that jump right there. But then Garrett just really kicked up the horsepower in those rollers right there and started pulling away. But Greg, the robot that he is, just stuck calm, cool, and collected and stayed with him through the rollers.
Yeah, I think the damage was done after that first run. Garrett Meacham just giving up too much time with that mistake. Man, I wish I could have seen these guys with a fair run on the first one and another one, yeah.
I'd say look out for Garrett Meacham in speed and style for the rest of the World Tour season, but also look out for him in this bronze medal matchup, because he might as well do that cork 7 every single time. It was absolutely perfect. So that's not the last we'll see of Garrett Meacham. But Kialani HINES, we're getting word, will sit this one out. So that will give the bronze medal to Jill KINTNER, who will take that bye run and be awarded a bronze medal. But we still have a gold to give away here after Jill takes this bye lap.
So this will be good points for a Queen of Crankworx, well, not defense, sorry.
This is not an event we would think we would normally see her in, but being the competitor that she is, she wants to maintain some points. So third place isn't where she likes to be, but still, granted, those are great points right there.
No, exactly. I'm so used to seeing her in the Queen of Crankworx just being at the top. But Vaea VERBEECK, obviously our reigning champ, Jill Kittner's back to try and get that title.
And things are going to be a little different there with this event this year. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see her in Innsbruck with a couple tricks. Always a competitor, Jill Kittner.
Yeah, she pushes herself so much. I did speak to her and she said, you know, she's only learned the ET. And I'm like, well, that's a start, you know, and she's just so high pressure and such a high achiever. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes back and she's frustrated that she's not doing as good a tricks as some of these ladies. Or is she just going to go, this is my banker, I'm hoping for top 4, and that's all I'm willing to do.
She's like, I'm not hitting that jump if I don't have to.
Yeah, these jumps are not small.
No, not after seeing that crash either. Smart play. This is solid queen points though. Let's get back to the business end of why she's here, to get back that title.
All right, well, if you're enjoying all the action here on Red Bull TV, it's stop number 1 of the 2020 Crankworx World Tour. We're bringing all the broadcasts to you on Red Bull TV. And if you're not satisfied at the end of a broadcast, make sure you download the Red Bull TV app, because there's plenty of more content coming your way. Of course, tons of different sports, but lots of two-wheeled action across all disciplines of mountain biking, BMX. Download the app now for all the entertainment you can fit in your pocket. Speaking of entertainment, this bronze medal and gold medal rounds are going to be insane. The two youngsters going up against each other for the bronze, David LIEB and Garrett Meacham, and then two highly accomplished athletes in speed and style will be fighting for that gold medal. Tomas LEMOINE from France and Greg Watts from America. So a big opportunity here for Tomas LEMOINE, who has been a speed and style world champion in the past, but he didn't have the season of his dreams last year. A couple issues for him. We saw those issues from Rotorua, but let's take a look at how that pattern continued at stop number 2 in Innsbruck. Take a look at this. He's doing a 360 double bar spin, but if you notice, oh, something's fishy there. His handlebars are backwards, but he does not even flinch. Lands with his handlebars backwards, which means that his brake's on the wrong side. The lever is completely sucked underneath the bar, and we'll see here on the run out. We're gonna pause it for you as he grabs a brake. Pause. Look at this, how he's gotta roll his hand over to be able to grab that brake, and that just goes to show what kind of focused competitor he is. And he will be in the gold medal matchup, looking to get back to the top of that podium, a place that he's been in the past. But before we get there, we got to drop run number 1 of our bronze medal heat, which will be between David LIEB on the left side of your screen and Garrett Meacham on the right. I'm hoping we see Garrett Meacham go for that cork 7 again on the first jump.
He did it so cleanly against Greg Watts. Wow, the battle of the rookies here. These guys have done so well to get it just this far, but there's still a bronze medal up for grabs.
These guys ride together a lot too. David was just at Garrett's house in Santa Cruz, California, so they know what tricks each other have.
Oh, David was at the triple bar spin.
David got 3 bar spins in right there.
Wow, throwing, and look at the score. 136 in for him. 126 for Garrett, so he's got an advantage over Garrett. Oh no! Not in the feet, just like Garrett did in his run. A little bit of redemption almost for Garrett Meacham there.
So Garrett Meacham riding a smart race right there, not going for the jugular with the cork 7, and it wouldn't have even really mattered. David LIEB scored 3 points higher than what that 7 would have scored by his huge combo, which pretty sure you guys said it was the 360 triple bar spin. So Garrett will be the leader going into their second run. Here we go, 1, 2, 3 for David LIEB.
Garrett made up so much time in these rollers right here. Watch him through that section.
So So the backflip double bar spin for David Lieb. Take a look at the feet blown off here on the landing.
Just went a little deep on that jump right there and kind of exploded on impact, but great holding it on, holding it all together, just like we saw Garrett do in the matchup against Greg Watts.
I like whirl up like in the game.
Yeah, you had no time.
So that'll be a good one, getting those back up to the top. Will we see Garrett Meacham or David Lieb grabbing the bronze medal? We'll find out shortly, but before that, we got a gold medal to give away here in the women's category between Jordy SCOTT and Vaea VERBEECK, two competitors, both rising to the occasion here in speed and style, learning that tuck no-hander. So with similar tricks, this might come down to a drag race between these two. There we go, the GoPro fan cam. We're giving our rowdy audience out here an opportunity to just get wild for the broadcast.
Now, Jordy SCOTT lives in St. George, Utah these days. I believe she's going to Dixie State University. She lives about 30 minutes away from where I live, and she comes from a gated racing background. I was asking her for some pointers on some gate starts. We've been talking about going to the Virgin Utah BMX track. Now watch her gate right here. But Vaea also has a good snap out of the gate, actually getting the advantage on Jordy right there.
Yeah, as Vaea said, she's been working on that. She knows how important it is. So tuck no-hander from Vaea.
Identical extension on that one right there.
So Vaea, she's already into the final here. She's going to gain a few valuable points on Jill KINTNER, but can she do the gold? The Jordy.
Whoa! That's a suicide no-hander from Vaea.
Right, she's doing two different kinds of no-handers.
She should beat Jordy in the trick on the second jump.
That's going to be a close heat. And look at these girls' bikes right here. Jordy on a hardtail, which is typically faster on a track like this. Vaea opting for the big trail bike.
So Jordy taking the first jump. That's not much in time. It's only 0.1 second of an advantage. She's gained a little bit more on Vaea, but what did Vaea get on this? Oh, this is what it's all going to come down to on jump 2.
Wow, scoring the 117 for Vaea, which is going to be the game changer there, giving her the lead going into their second run of this gold medal matchup. Let's take a look at these side-by-side tuck no-handers.
To me, I gotta say, that looked like similar extension, but they rewarded Jordy for a little bit more extension right there. But Vaea made up for it right here with the suicide no-hander. First jump was a tuck no-hander, so it's great to see her having two different kinds of no-handers, throwing them into one run. Look at Jordy drifting around that flat turn right there.
So pretty much a dead heat there, 0.03 in it. That's nothing. We're going to throw them to the top. They've got run 2 coming up here in just a little bit.
You see Vaea's mannerisms there. She's going, look, that was 2 different no-handers. I had the tuck and I had the sui.
She's been working hard, so she's got to be proud of those tricks.
Oh, this is going to be so good. Greg Watts on the right side of your screen going up against Tomas LEMOINE. And let's take a look at how LEMOINE found himself in this gold medal matchup. First off, round of 16, we saw him going up against Bas van Steenbergen, who is so fast but struggles on these jumps. See Bas going for the toboggan. But this just goes to show how fast LEMOINE is. Look how close he was to Bas through this finish line. Okay, well maybe it wasn't that close, but those tricks have been serving him well. He advanced. Let's see who he met up against in round of 8. Billy MEACLEM.
So taking out last year's winner, Billy MEACLEM, Tomas LEMOINE, a man on a charge.
I like his approach as well, how he said he's not putting any expectations on this season. He doesn't want to come here saying he's going to win or with the expectation of winning. He wants low pressure. Sometimes that's when you ride the best.
Last year we saw a young gun take the gold. LEMOINE did not want to let that happen again, so he charged against David Lieb.
Yeah, if you're able to keep that expectation and pressure off, but often that's just something you say to the cameras, you know deep down inside, you're here for one goal and one goal only, but that keeps people asking you and all that, and they think you're just here for a good time. But we all know Tomas LEMOINE is serious as anyone out here.
Especially now that he's in the final. He's here to win. He's not here to get second place.
What's your goal now, you know?
Exactly.
And we're off. Okay, going for the double bar spin to exit for LEMOINE.
Pretty sure Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but he might have only gotten a backflip bar spin right there, which, not to say only.
But that is going to hurt him if you're correct. It's tough to see. Whoa! Look at LEMOINE, backflip, double bar spin, and a huge mistake from Greg. That's all she wrote for this run.
Wow.
Wow, an uncharacteristic air there for Greg Watts. You seldom see him mess up a backflip bar spin combination. High pressure situation here going up against Tomas LEMOINE in the gold medal round. I'm curious if Greg missed a gate.
Oh my God.
So in a moment, we'll take an opportunity to reel back the tape and figure out if Greg Watts missed a gate or not. He was going for the backflip bar spin to bar spin back, fumbling with the bars a little bit, maybe a little bit of a crosswind. Let's see.
Yeah, he's nowhere near that black gate. I mean, technically that's legal if he could get back.
And I think he
does.
Did.
He?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's legit, but I mean, he's lost over 5 seconds. That's someone that knows the racing rules there, and he's not given up till the fat lady sings.
So it's going to be a big deficit here that Greg Watts will have to battle against if he wants to take the gold out from under Tomas LEMOINE. But wow, LEMOINE looking on point, making up for those errors that we saw from last year, looking to hopefully get another gold medal here in speed and style. LEMOINE with the advantage over Watts. Garrett Meacham with the advantage over LIEB. We've got plenty of hardware to give away in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. Final runs coming up next. Back to action here in beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand for day 2 of competition. on the first stop of the Crankworx World Tour. And if you're curious what it means to be hanging out in Rotorua, New Zealand, well, let's zoom out all the way from space and then punch in. You see those two islands floating there on the right side of Australia? Yeah, that's the beautiful nation we know and love. It's called New Zealand. We're on the North Island, and this is the epicenter of mountain biking down here in the Southern Hemisphere. We've been coming back for Crankworx year after year. This is our 6th to be exact. And it's time to give away a bronze medal in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. Will it go to Garrett Meacham or will it go to David LIEB? Here we go.
And he goes again, the cork 720. Lands deep, but he's still on his bike somehow.
He didn't even have to do that either. He's up by a second.
Yeah, what is he doing? I'd say a rookie error, but it's just, he doesn't care.
He's having fun, man. He likes that jump.
Awesome,
that's what
man.
he wants to do, apparently.
It shows you how good he is. Bike handling on the top level. That is your bronze medal winner from what I can tell after that.
Pretty sure that's his second bronze medal in a speed and style event. He's been trying for a couple years, but now he's got it all figured out, man. I think we're going to see him up here more often.
Yeah, Innsbruck last year, he managed to take 3rd place. He's done it here again. Look at this, just class. So corked as well.
You get so wrapped up in that. It's similar to when you're watching like a snowboard athlete and they wind off the takeoff so much.
Wow, look at that.
Contorted to get that bike around. Lands perfectly nose down, but watch him go almost over this berm here with the front tire.
That was over the berm.
He was trying to roost his friend David in the face right there.
I mean, that's going to make it tough for the gold medal matchup. These guys are going to have to ride that berm after Garrett completely blasted it.
Well, that's just full commitment. Full commitment on the first jump, full commitment, drifting the front tire over the top of the berm as if nothing happened. Well, and there you have it.
Full commitment is something we're beginning to expect from Lil Rojo, Garrett Meacham. And at this rate, we'll be calling him a veteran in speed and style before too long, grabbing his 2nd bronze medal. I think he just realized it right now.
Well, he's not the best at math. We've both known him for a long time, so he needed to see that green thing to have it guaranteed.
Yeah, clearly, because he didn't know he had a second to play with. Throwing a cork 720 when you didn't need to at the top.
There we go. Congrats to Garrett Meacham grabbing that bronze. David LIEB going for 4th place there. Impressive performance out of both of those young athletes. But now it's time to figure out who's going to take the gold in the women's category here at Speed and Style. Will it be Vaea VERBEECK on the left side of your screen or Jordy SCOTT on the right? Both bringing the tricks and the speed. Vaea leading, but only by 0.03 of a second. This will be a drag race.
So neck and neck with the gate sots this run. Oh, Vaea missing the trick. That is gonna hurt her. This is a dead heat from the first run.
Yeah, Vaea does not have big enough of an advantage to miss the no-hander. She's really gonna have to get good extension on the 2nd jump.
Yeah, no, they scored it. Look at that. It's 1.4 seconds versus 0.3. It's gonna be so tough for Vaea.
Vaea picking up a 117 on the 2nd jump. What's the score going to be? They're an 80. Too close to call here without waiting for the judges. Gold medal on the line. Will it be Vaea VERBEECK, the reigning queen of Crankworx, or Jordy SCOTT, the only woman to ever win a speed and style event for the women?
So missing that no-hander, but Jordy got some good extension on hers.
So rad. She hasn't screwed that trick up once all night. And now I'm not the best at math either. But I'm pretty sure Jordy SCOTT might remain undefeated in this speed and style event.
I'm not claiming too much. School was a long time ago for me. But in my mind, Jordy SCOTT has definitely managed to edge out Vaea. Let's see once they tally, but it's going to be a good margin here, I think. She put a lot of time into Vaea on that first hit. That's 1.1 seconds just on one jump. Then she's only losing 0.3 in my maths. So we're looking at a good margin here. Probably 0.7, 0.8 to guess. I'm putting myself on the line here, Tyler. They wait in anticipation. Who's it going to be?
Oh my gosh.
We throw it down to the judges in the bottom right there. They're tallying it up. They're verifying it. They were trying to make it official here.
They've got their calculators out.
How far ahead was I?
I don't know.
There you have it, the gold. More than that, 1.25, because they're going to do the run tallies as well. Commanding win there for Jordy SCOTT.
So Jordy SCOTT undefeated in women's speed and style here. Congratulations.
That was some good racing. If Vaea didn't miss that first trick, I think that would have been really, really close.
Wow, Jordy, congratulations. A win last year in Whistler, another one here. You weren't speaking much about the tricks, but that's clearly what got it done tonight. How do you feel?
I'm really happy to be able to get it done at Whistler and then here. This is definitely my favorite event, and I'm really looking forward to pump track tomorrow, so I feel like I have a little bit of momentum going into that. So I'm super stoked. I wanted to go for the T-bog, the tire grab on the last jump, and I crashed doing that earlier on that same side, and I couldn't get myself to do it. So I felt like I was a bit lucky that Vaea couldn't get that done on the first jump, but I'm super stoked. I think it would have been super close either way, so I'm super happy.
I think the future is bright for women's speed and style, and I heard you live in St. George, Utah. What do you think? I think you need to contract this guy out to get you even more tricks. You work out a deal?
Oh yeah, I'd be super happy with that. I'm always willing to learn new stuff and always wanting to push the limits for women in sports, so that'd be awesome.
Well, I need some help with gate starts, so we could do a good little trade right there, and I think that would work out great.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks so much, Jordy. Wow, what an impressive performance. Jordy SCOTT carrying the torch for women in speed and style. I'm sure we will see it back in Innsbruck. But we got to update you on how the Queen of Crankworx standings look after the points were awarded here in speed and style. Jill KINTNER pulling down third place points, so remaining the woman to beat at the top of that leaderboard. No big surprises there. But what will the story be? Who's going to take the gold here in the men's category? Greg Watts on the left side of your screen going up against Tomas LEMOINE.
Tomas LEMOINE has managed to keep the pressure off him. He's been consistent all night. Doesn't need to push it too much. Looked like the boss went to exit from what I could see. So Greg Watts got the work cut out for him here. Slipping behind in the speed as well. And he's got just so much to make up.
And Thomas just has to take this one home right here, not miss any of these gates, and he's finding himself coming home with another gold medal.
LEMOINE riding a smart race there, knowing he had so much to work with. And look at that, making good on those mistakes he had a year ago and getting back to the top step of that podium. Congratulations to Tomas LEMOINE, the 2018 Speed and Style World Champ in the overall. He was second in the overall last year, and now looking to get back that title.
Well, it's
Greg Watts made him work for it, didn't he?
He did. I mean, Tomas LEMOINE consistent all night, winless the whole of last year. That must have been frustrating for him after such a good year in 2018, but he's back on top. Your gold medalist here at the Speed and Style at the first stop of 2020.
So congrats to Greg Watts for pulling down that silver, getting one spot better than last year. He took the bronze home just a year ago. And looks like we got a headset on Tomas LEMOINE right now. Let's chat with him.
Well, Thomas, you said you weren't putting too much pressure on yourself, but you were winless last year. How good does it feel to get back on top?
It feels good, man. It's a good redemption for me. I had a hard time here last year. I'm stoked I made it happen this year, and I've never win here the Speed and Style. So I'm pretty happy about this. Thanks everyone for supporting.
So big day tomorrow for you, LEMOINE. You got slopestyle coming up. You gonna get some rest or what?
Yeah, big rest tonight and trying to figure out tomorrow because we barely had practice. So it's gonna be exciting tomorrow.
Well, congratulations on grabbing the win here tonight.
Thank you.
Go headbutt the pillow and get ready for slopestyle. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. See ya.
Well, great work there. What an insane final here in the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. Tomas LEMOINE grabbing the gold for the men. Jordy SCOTT grabbing the gold for the women. Tyler, thanks for joining us. It was fun having you in the booth. Of course, we're hoping to get you back out on the racetrack at the second stop of the season, so make sure you ice and elevate that thing because we'll be rooting for you. But Andrew, final thoughts from the racing today?
Well, I'm blown away. I'm very impressed with the ladies field. Jordy SCOTT, what a great ride from her. And then Tomas LEMOINE, well, winless last year, but bang, back with a bang.
All right, well, thanks to all the mountain bike fans of the world for joining us here for the Speed and Style action. For those of you who are joining us on Red Bull TV, stick around. We got the Rollout post-show coming up shortly.
You want both? Hang on.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for sticking around. We're going to unveil a new little feature we're going to be doing throughout this season. We call it the Rollout. It is our post-show, and it should be a whole lot of fun. We're going to kick things off by interviewing the top finishers from our women's category in speed and style. They're all hanging out right here. Won't you get in here? Come on.
Yeah, so we're going to get them. We're going to get mics ready. We're going to get some chats to them. They've just finished, so give us a few seconds. We're going to get the mics ready.
So I'm your host, Cam McCall, alongside two analysts today, a speed and style competitor, my brother Tyler McCall, and World Cup downhill racing legend Andrew Needling. And now we're going to hang out with some very big smiley faces based on their insanely long days today.
Okay, there we go.
Rewarded with some medals. We got Jordy SCOTT over here grabbing the gold medal. Vaea VERBEECK, who grabbed the silver medal. And man, I don't know. It's been chatter for quite a few years. What about a women's category for speed and style? Everybody going, oh, it'd be cool at some point. We'll wait until it's right. Tonight, the riding you two did really went to show that the time is now. Do you hope that we get another speed and style in Innsbruck? And if so, will you just keep it on rolling? You're going to join us again for more speed and style?
Absolutely. I was so happy that they made it happen. It was pretty last minute call for all of us to start practicing tricks, but you got to put it on the map so that we put in the work and get out there.
How long ago did you find out that there would be a category for you?
February, I got an email. I had left my slalom bike at a different side of the country, so I had to practice tricks on my enduro bike. So
that's why there's no tail whips.
That's the only reason why.
Well, I saw that you were in Queenstown practicing your tricks, and I like that you had two different types of the no-handers there, and the judges definitely noticed that.
Thanks.
So, all right, I'm not sure which run we're going to see first, but I want you two to commentate for us, because as if you haven't worked hard enough today, we're going to make you do our job now. This is the gold medal matchup. What were you guys thinking? Pretty neck and neck out of the gate.
Yeah, I was stoked on that gate because I'm on flats, so I was like really pushing to get a good gate, so I was happy with that.
I mean, I think I got my techno hander on that one. Might have cased a little bit. I was trying to hammer so much pedals, and then I was like, wait, I'm going too fast, and just slow down for the jump. Going huge there. Oh my God.
She got so much air. I almost missed. I slid out there, and then the other side almost missed a flag, so still got some work to do.
I was going to ask, like, when you're doing those tricks and it's new to you guys on some of those jumps, the jumps are big. I mean, are you thinking so much about the trick you almost forget about the gates?
I think that jump has been causing a little bit of issue today just because like the wind was so unpredictable and I know tons of people were overshooting it. So like it was kind of like land, don't crash, and then figure out the gates. I mean, I think even for some of the guys it was like that because the overshoot game was pretty real on that jump.
I agree. I had a big old, like, you know, harsh landing, then you just gotta put it together.
So we got you back up to the top of the course. Now Vaea, right here. Why don't you shake your head?
There it is.
Oh, explain to me the thoughts.
I've never had that. I've never, like, I have so little experience in doing techno handers, especially on those are the biggest jumps I've done. Actually, today was my first time doing it to dirt, so honestly, I guess it happens, but it's never happened to me to choke. So I'm like, what happened? So yeah, we'll work on that.
Jordy, so consistent. I don't think you missed a single trick all day, did you?
Yeah, I was actually really happy with that. At the Speed and Style event in Whistler, I hadn't really focused on tricks for the past year, and I'd really just been focusing on downhill, so I was pretty disappointed in myself for not being able to get the tuck no-handers consistent, but I just like really went to work on them because they're one of my favorite tricks. So it was actually a huge like upset for me to be able to get all the no-handers today, because that honestly like is something I haven't been able to do very often. So I was super happy about that.
Okay, one more quick question. Tuck no-handers for both of you. You're doing the suicide no-hander. What do you think is harder, and which should be judged higher?
I honestly, on a hardtail, I can't do a suicide. So I think if this was an all hardtail event, I think that the suicides would be judged higher. But since we're all on mixed bikes, I think it's I think they could be equal points. Honestly, they're both pretty difficult. But yeah.
You were doing both. What do you think?
Yeah, I've done suicides for longer. I mean, we're talking 6 months period, but I think with suis, if the jump is big enough, I have time to just kind of like almost like straight air, and then I'm like, sweet, I'm good, hands off, back on. While the tuck, you have to commit from the takeoff. So I find that a little bit more commitment. I do the suis first, and then when I'm comfortable, I do tuck.
Cool. Well, great job out there. It was a really strong debut for women's speed and style. I'm sure you inspired plenty of girls out there who are watching to hopefully try to make it up here and battle with you guys. So congrats on making everything look so successful, and hopefully we see you back for more in Innsbruck.
That was awesome.
Right on. So overall, the entire day, the production crew, they give me a chance to pick out my favorite moment. We're calling it Cam's Call Out. And today, it was a pretty easy decision. My mind was blown when the young man, Garrett Meacham, decided to dig deep and completely contort himself, pulling out a trick that you normally see on a slope style course. Garrett Meacham there going for the Cork 720, and his execution of that was so aggressive in the middle of a race run while somebody's alongside you doing a double tail whip, landing low, almost blown out the corner afterward. Basically just showing that he was going for the gold the entire day. Even when he had an advantage, he was still completely swinging for the fences, going for the jugular. And speaking of which, we got some more guests up here in our booth for the Rollout post show. We had gold and silver from the women. Now we've got the entire podium from the men's category. Garrett Meacham, Greg Watts, Tomas LEMOINE. I'm not even sure if we got enough room for them. We're gonna get everybody situated here with microphones and keep this rollout rolling. Guys, long day, huh?
Yeah, it was a pretty long day, for sure. Along with slalom yesterday, long couple days. And first, I gotta give it up to LEMOINE. Mad respect for doing slopestyle and this. Like, I was that slopestyle guy. It's so hard to concentrate on just one, and for him to win a side event for him, like, mad respect.
Thank you. Thank you. Big time, man. Now, Garrett, I know that you mentioned in the headset interview that we had with you earlier that you kind of want to be the all-around guy, kind of like what LEMOINE is doing. Do you hope to be able to get some points and kind of follow in the footsteps of Tomas LEMOINE, be on the big show at some point?
Yeah, goal for the year is to get within the top 12, top 14 in FMB standings in order to do the Diamond Series or get a wild card this year. But yeah, I envy his work ethic. I envy him as a rider. It's just super motivating, and I'm stoked to see it.
Okay, so come over here because I want you to be able to see this screen. We're going to let you take a look at run 2 when you grab that bronze medal. And I got a couple questions to ask you. First, I want you to just kind of break down what you're feeling at any given moment here. But the first question, do you think you needed to do this Cork 7? Was that just for the crowd, or were you just thinking, that's my run 2, I'm not going to waver? Yeah. What's the story?
Honestly, I had no idea. I didn't really
That's what we figured.
I didn't really see what was the time difference, so I was like, honestly, just send it, and I'd rather come away with it doing my best and knowing that I did everything in my power instead of just, say, doing a smaller trick and not getting the bronze medal.
Had you done the Cork 7 in practice, or did you just save it for when you needed it in these runs?
No, I just saved it. Actually, Greg was the one that made me do it from beating me the first run of 2.
So, Greg, crazy combos. We were talking about it during the broadcast. You're the guy who always keeps us guessing. Like, that was a surprise when Garrett decided to dig deep and do the Quarterfinal 7. But at what point do you decide which flip bar spin combos you're going to do? Is it in the gate, or are you actually measuring against your competitor and making last-minute decisions?
Here, it was actually all over the map.
That's what
I had an
it seemed
idea,
like.
and like I think it only actually got executed once from top to bottom. But really kind of judge based on where the other rider is. If you're ahead of them, you maybe lay up a little bit, or if you're behind, you got to throw that extra bar spin in sometimes. But it just comes out from my head, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, that last one I almost crashed on was supposed to be a triple because I saw him in front of me. So a little wind blown, but happens.
Sometimes everything happens, and it happens really quick, so fast that you might forget. So scoot along over here. We're going to play you that run, and I want you to just kind of play by play, give us a little insight into the thought process.
Well, let's see here. What did I do? I don't even remember. That was just a flip bar. I think I was going to do a flip bar to Sui, but sometimes your combos don't work out, but that's the good thing about combos is like a flip bar is still pretty decent.
I figured you were going to try to make up for it here, knowing that you missed the double combo on the first jump. So I was looking for this. The winds were kind of picking up through there.
A little bit, not bad, but yeah, I think I fumbled on my hands. Technically still went around my
that's
that
the
was
experience we were seeing there, Greg. We all noticed that. You know the rules from racing back in the day.
Yeah, but like I said, that's the good thing about combos. It was still a flip double bar. I mean, I wanted more, but no one needs to know that. I guess they do now.
But Lemoine, I mean, we spoke Greg saying that he's doing a lot of it on the fly, but I spoke to you and I also saw you at the top practicing, kind of visualizing before the run. How much of yours seems like you've set most of your strategy before you drop in?
I tried to, like, every run see who I was against with, and like I knew it was final. I wanted to do like pretty much the same tricks I've been doing before, and I got a little bit more excited on the last one. I did like double bar X just to like, I felt like I could do it. My plan was like, if I was late, do like bigger tricks on the second run, like I tried in Whistler, but it worked good on the first run, so I just like figured out I should stay on the bike and probably make it happen, chill in the second run.
Well, you did. I think I'm amazed at all you guys being able to just change it on the fly. Garrett, from a race background, did you see you push the front wheel basically over the berm?
Oh yeah,
did you know you were doing that? Well, like, what is going through your head with that?
Close, but that was the loosest moment I've had in a while. I almost threw it away right there.
Okay. I thought you were trying to roost David in the face. You
honestly,
almost,
it
like,
might have been a
blinded
tactic.
him.
You guys don't know, though.
We don't. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to get in your guys' heads, and we're getting a lot of it, so thanks.
So congrats to all of you guys. But I want to talk to you a little bit more because you've got a big day coming up tomorrow. Pump track and slopestyle on the same day. I'm not sure where in the world the practice schedules overlap. Are you going to be able to do pump track tomorrow?
I don't think so, because I did like 2 full lines on the course because it was windy. I couldn't ride today, but I saw like no one really did the full course too. And I feel like maybe we're gonna have some more practice tomorrow morning, and this is something I can't miss. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna try to make it happen for slopestyle now and give all my chances. And I skip pump track for that time, and probably will do it in Innsbruck.
Perfect. Focus on the big show. We'll be rooting for you. Congrats to all you guys.
Yeah,
Garrett
man, that was amazing.
Tomas LEMOINE.
You guys are killing it.
Greg
Good job,
Watts.
dude. Nice work.
We will see LEMOINE back in slopestyle tomorrow. Of course, he just picked up some big points for the King of Crankworx overall. We wish you some more points tomorrow in slopestyle. Tune in if you're a slopestyle fan tomorrow. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us here at the Clif Rotorua Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. A great show. We expect to see all you back for stop number 2 in Innsbruck. And we want to congratulate Jordy SCOTT on her big win in the broadcast debut of women's speed and style. And of course, big congrats to Tomas LEMOINE getting that gold medal. Thanks to everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.